Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson have just set a new milestone in Hollywood relationships with an incredible 36 years of marriage.
We got married for all the right reasons.
I really like him, and he likes me, and we laugh a lot.
And of course, Tom isn't afraid to release a few man tears while publicly declaring his love.
I think this was the luckiest woman in the world tonight when you said what you did.
A lover that is so close to fine, we should all be able to experience such heaven right here on earth.
I'm totally the luckiest woman in the world, I am.
And everybody should be so lucky with their lover.
They first met back in 1981 on the set of the ABC sitcom Bosom Buddies, where Hanks was still married to his high school sweetheart, but he couldn't resist his attraction to Wilson. Fast forward to 1987, and after separating from his former wife, the Sleepless in Seattle star went public with his romance with the runaway bride actress.
I thought I loved this woman 6 months ago, but I love her even more now, so it just keeps changing all the time.
I can't imagine Tom Hanks as a husband.
Pretty scary thought is. I thought I was a pretty good boyfriend, so I guess I make a pretty good husband.
They married a year later and now share 2 children.
When you won your second Oscar, I think you thanked your wife, and I just don't want to end this thing without Rita talking about your wonderful wife, because you credited her with teaching you about love.
I felt as though my family was divorced. We were not together. And Rita's Greek family was this table where everybody was always welcome. And also a family that puts up with how pissed off they are at each other in a pretty good way. And that is a degree of love that is unconditional. And I had yet to be part of someone where that was just the given.
Over the years, they've stood by each other through thick and thin, facing challenges like Wilson's breast cancer diagnosis.
In 2015, their bond was tested when she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I would say that we got closer, if it's even possible to say that.
My wife can beat anything. She is superhuman.
Please welcome actor George Takei and business manager Brad Altman.
Though they didn't get married until 2009, Brad and George Takei have been a happy couple since the 1980s, keeping their love a secret for over 20 years.
When I first went to his townhouse in our courting era, I couldn't believe how dirty it was.
Well, that's me, and so disorganized.
The phone would ring. It was his mother saying, "Neat, John, it's time to bring over your laundry." His mother always did his laundry for him. And George and I got together when George was 48 years old. So until George was 48, his mother did his laundry for him.
And then he took over.
And then I took over.
Just one day after the California Supreme Court lifted its ban on gay marriage, George announced that he and Brad would tie the knot.
Last month, the California Supreme Court made history by ruling for equality in marriage. And this morning, we're all here to give flesh and blood reality to that ruling. We're going to make history, and Brad Altman and I are going to join you, and we are going to get our marriage license today. Isn't that extraordinary, and isn't that wonderful?
Their long-lasting bond and momentous decision continue to inspire many. Imagine being one of country music's most beloved couples for over 25 years. That's Faith Hill and Tim McGraw's story.
I kind of love her. She just brightens every room she walks into, especially mine.
Their journey began in 1994 at a Nashville gig, but back then, both were involved with other people. Fast forward to 1996, they reignited their connection during McGraw's Spontaneous Combustion Tour, and by the end of that year, they were married. Now, over 2 decades later, they're proud parents of 3 daughters and continue to create music together, including their heartfelt hit, The Rest of Our Lives.
Y'all hadn't found each other. Do you think anything would be any different?
I'd be dead. My life didn't start till 8 years ago.
Aww.
Yeah.
Me too. Oh, baby.
Tim popped the question that June.
We were somewhere playing this big outdoor festival, and they had these trailer houses set up, and I said, "Look, let's get married." She goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'm serious." And then they called me and I had to go to stage. I went to stage and did the show, and then I came off the stage and went back into my dressing room, and Faith wasn't there, but I looked at the mirror in lipstick. It said, "Yes, I'm gonna be your wife." And we still have that mirror, and it was best day of my life, that's for sure.
I felt like, yeah, like I'm in love with him, and he's
And what
really
is love?
incredible.
Exactly. What is love?
Another celebrity couple who has stood the test of time is Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. They met in the 1990s on Broadway before becoming Hollywood stars, with Parker moving on from Robert Downey Jr. and soon after making things official with Broderick. They surprised everyone by getting married in 1997 and now share 3 kids. Though they keep much of their life private, Parker opened up in a 2013 Harper's Bazaar interview, expressing her deep love and devotion to their family and life together. "I love our life. I love that he's the father of my children, and it's because of him that there's this whole other world that I love."
When did you know you were in love?
I knew pretty quickly. We had our first official date on March 8th of 1992, and we've been together ever since. And but
what does that mean, been together ever since? Did you move in together right away? Was it that intense?
We've never spent a night apart since then, with the exception of work on location, or his mother was ill for a bit to take care of her. But from that first night, we've never been apart. And
wow.
So then pretty soon into our relationship, I felt like, yeah, like I'm in love with him, and he's
and what
really
is love?
Incredible.
Exactly. What is love to you?
Well, I think, first of all, I admired him. I loved his work. I had seen all of his movies. I had paid to go see them. I'd been on location shooting movies and gone to see them. And I could remember every place I'd seen him, but I didn't realize that I was a fan.
We've survived,
We've survived.
You know, and that's the thing that is difficult that people don't understand about love. You think it's all flowers and everything, but love gets created by making it together.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's from surviving.
We've come through some stuff.
This a gangster right here in front of y'all. This little one here, a gangster.
Despite the many ups and downs in their relationship, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have made it out the other side stronger and more resilient. Here is Will, with his arm wrapped around Jada, speaking at her book launch in her hometown of Baltimore at the end of 2023, just having emerged out the other end of an extremely testing few years for the couple.
Jada's the best friend I have ever had on this planet. And I am going to show up for her and support her for the rest of my life.
Their journey began in 1990 on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, leading to their wedding vows on New Year's Eve in 1997. Today, they are the proud parents of Jaden and Willow and are soon to celebrate 27 years of marriage together.
Sounds like you're staying together
We're
forever.
staying together forever.
When Portia de Rossi first locked eyes with Ellen DeGeneres in 2001, she knew it was love at first sight, describing their meeting to Oprah Winfrey in 2009.
When did you know that she was the one for you?
When I first laid eyes on her. But it took me 3 years to actually tell her how I felt about her, because I was on Ally McBeal at the time and I was not living as an openly gay person.
Mm-hmm.
I was closeted and very, very afraid that if I talked about being gay, it would be the end of my career.
Fast forward to 2008, and the couple was among the first to celebrate the legalization of gay marriage in California by officially tying the knot.
Yesterday, if you haven't heard, the California Supreme Court overturned a ban on gay marriage. So I would like to say right now, for the first time, I am announcing I am getting married.
Now, even after 16 years of marriage, their love remains as strong as ever. Ellen shared with People magazine in 2021 that she and Portia often remind each other of their incredible luck in finding one another.
This is such an obvious question. What was it that attracted you to him?
It all started at a soccer game in 1997. When Victoria and David Beckham first met, they both reported they felt an instant connection.
I just fancied him, and it was as simple as that.
So strong was their bond that just 2 years later, the Spice Girl and the soccer star tied the knot. Fast forward 27 years, 4 kids, and a relationship that still shines bright, they've become the epitome of a celebrity power couple. In 2017, they even renewed their vows, proving their love is as enduring as ever.
This is such an obvious question. What was it that attracted you to him? I can answer that.
No idea.
What's your secret?
You know, he's actually, obviously, he's incredibly good looking, but David is the most wonderful husband and fantastic father and a real inspiration to all of us. You know, he's hardworking. He's a really, I'm lucky to have him as my soulmate.
Denzel Washington and Pauletta Pearson, a couple with a rich history, met in 1977 on the set of Wilma and began dating a year later.
Remember how you proposed?
No.
It's not a trick question, I'm just asking.
I don't remember, because she kept telling me no.
Did you know Denzel had to propose 3 times before Pauletta said yes? They eventually tied the knot in 1983, renewed their vows in 1995, and now have 4 children together. In this heartfelt speech, Denzel expresses how much Pauletta means to him.
The most important person in my life. 40 years of sacrifice, 40 years of forgiveness. She taught me about faith, spirituality, love, real love, unwavering love, in spite of myself. I would not be alive without Pauletta Washington. I wouldn't be alive.
After 13 years of marriage, Salma Hayek says she and François-Henri are still strong in love. The Like a Boss star and the billionaire businessman keep their relationship mostly private, but they certainly know how to celebrate their love. They first married in a courthouse ceremony in Paris in 2009, followed by a grander ceremony in Venice 2 months later with friends and family. In 2018, they renewed their vows in Bora Bora. The couple shares 1 daughter and continues to thrive in their enduring relationship.
No, at the beginning, I didn't think so, but he won me over really fast. At the beginning, I was stereotyping him. I said, "It's not my kind of guy at all." And I remember when I started saying, "Oh my God, there's something here," and it was so silly. We started talking about football. We're both crazy about soccer. And then little by little I realized this person that looked so far away from me was my perfect match.
Hi guys, we're Emily and John.
Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are another celebrity couple who have successfully navigated years of marriage. They first met through a mutual friend in 2008, and less than a year later, the Office actor proposed. By 2010, they had exchanged vows and started their journey, raising 2 children to collaborating on the film A Quiet Place. They exemplify a flourishing Hollywood relationship. Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem have kept their 12-year marriage mostly private, adding an air of mystery to their relationship. The Vanilla Sky actress and Skyfall star started their romance while collaborating on various films. They first met on the set of Hamon Hamon in 1992, when Penelope was just 17. But their love story didn't begin until they worked on Vicky Cristina Barcelona in 2008. A few years later, they exchanged vows and now share the joy of raising 2 children together.
You played this famous couple, but you are a famous couple. You and your beautiful wife, Penelope Cruz.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense?
No, I see the picture and you go, what is this beautiful creature on earth is doing with that guy? But
I can think of a few reasons. Now,
thank you very much. You're very kind.
We met in January 2005. I was trying to play it cool, but inside I felt like I'd snuck into the royal ball. Simply because Nick had such a truly otherworldly aura about her, and I felt a bit like I was meeting a real-life princess. And despite all of that, I did manage to get her phone number on a tiny piece of paper, and I carried that number in my pocket for well over a week. I pull it out and look at it, put it back in my pocket. I was scared. I was nervous to call her. And as prone as I might have been at the time to all sorts of delusional thinking, even I couldn't stretch that to think that this extraordinary woman would ever see anything in a guy like me. And that's not me being humble, that's literally how I saw myself and her. I did, as you probably figured out, pluck up the courage to finally call her. We started talking, and we just talked and talked like we'd known each other our whole lives. It turned out that this mystic creature was really just a wide-eyed, vivacious, giddy girl from the Sydney suburbs, and despite being born in Honolulu, she was utterly Aussie through and through.
When Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban first met, they quickly fell head over heels for each other. Just a year later, the actress and the country music star confirmed their undeniable chemistry by tying the knot in a beautiful Australian ceremony. Over the past 16 years, they've faced challenges like Urban's battle with addiction, juggled their demanding careers, and raised 2 children, yet their bond remains unbreakable.
They can make you laugh. Laughter lasts forever. If you just think she's hot or you just think he's hot, when he's 60, you're in a lot of trouble.
Imagine everyone's favorite 90s couple meeting on the set of I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997. But Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. didn't officially start dating until 2000. Just a year later, the She's All That star proposed to the Buffy the Vampire Slayer actress. Fast forward to 2002, and they were exchanging vows in a beautiful ceremony in Mexico. Now, 22 years later, they're a happy family of 4.
We just became friends. That's one of the reasons I think our relationship has always been so good. We were friends for a good 2 years before we ever went on a date. She knew what kind of guy I was. She knew what my morals were, what my priorities were, and vice versa. Neither one of us would have ever, if you ask her, she'd be like, oh my God, I thought he was a dork. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, she just ran 1,000,000 miles an hour and I couldn't keep up with her. We ended up being the perfect balance, you know what I mean? But it didn't happen until years after, and there was a solid foundation built. And that's probably the main reason why we've always been cool and groovy.
I love being married to you.
Me too. It's the best shit I ever did in my life.
I really love being married. It's perfect.
Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz' dreamy love story started back in the 90s when they were just teenagers.
I was probably 14 and he was 15.
I thought she was gonna fight me. She had on a purple Columbia jacket and some Timbs. Her girlfriend was in my class and she used to always rap. And then one day I came outside and she's like, yo, this is Swizz, he DJs. And I tried to get her number, she never gave me a number though, but came back strong.
Came back strong like 100 years later.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2008, the No One singer and the record producer finally got together, even though Swizz was still married to his first wife, Mashonda Tefrere, at the time. 2 years later, they celebrated their love with a beautiful wedding in France while Alicia was expecting their first child. Despite the challenges, their 12-year marriage has flourished, filled with career milestones and the joy of raising 2 children together. Julia Roberts and Daniel Motor's love story began in 2000 when the actress and cinematographer first felt a spark.
Surfing is his girlfriend, and I am his wife.
At the time, the Notting Hill star was dating Benjamin Bratt, and Motor was married to Vera Steinberg. They waited until Motor finalized his divorce in 2002 before pursuing a romantic relationship. Later that same year, they hosted their wedding. Now they share 3 children and continue to build their life together.
The life that I've built with my husband, the life that we've built with our children, and that's the best stuff.
Julia Roberts is revealing what matters most in her life.
I'm just super attached to those 4 people.
During an appearance on CBS Sunday Morning, she opens up about how being an A-lister doesn't compare to her 20-year marriage with hubby Danny Motor, and life with their teenage kids, Hazel, Henry, and Phineas.
It's just never consumed me, being an actor. It is my dream come true, but it is not my only dream come true. The life that I've built with my husband, the life that we've built with our children, and that's the best stuff, to come home at the end of the day triumphantly to them.
And he asked me to a basketball game, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's, I guess. And I tried to get out of it, but then he talked me into going, and I remember looking over at him while we were driving to the basketball game, and I thought, oh, like, this is a nice person, and oh, this is the person I should be with. This is the type of person I should be with. And that's when, yeah.
Your kids look mortified right now.
But that was the moment, and then...
I don't want to embarrass the kids, but then we made love.
Oh my God.
Leslie Mann and Judd Apatow have sustained a strong bond throughout their impressive 25-year marriage. They first met at an audition for The Cable Guy in 1995, and 2 years later, they sealed their love with a kiss as newlyweds. Despite working on several films together, the This Is 40 star and the comedian have kept their relationship thriving. "I have such a good time with Judd," Mann told ABC News in 2009. "He's so great, such a great director. I get to have input and go into the editing room. It's the perfect situation."